Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Thursday, August 20th, 2020, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day. This is the hour of the day that I like to make my buying and selling decisions for my swing trades. In the last hour, particularly in the last few minutes, I say this because during the day you have the day traders and the algorithms. They are the groups that are in control of the pricing. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions come in. They're dealing with the most money, they have very smart people, best technology, best information, and they start making their end of day buying and selling decisions in that last hour, in the last few minutes. And so I consider them smart money. I like to piggyback on what they are doing. It doesn't always work, but more times than not, I think it's the right decision. So let's take a look. Evan is here. Hey, Evan, good to see you. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. Dan is here. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. Hello, Johan from Asia. Appreciate you stopping in today. I hope you're having a good day. All right. Well, it's been a wild market. I'll tell you what, last night, I was looking at the futures and the futures were down like 200 points, but now the Dow is up 70. So big reversal. NASDAQ's having a really strong day, up 119 points, up 1%. S&P is up 13.6, up 0.4. So the winner today, as usual, is the NASDAQ. So let's take a look here. William is here. Hi, William Green. Good day to all. Hello, Greg. Hope all is well. Thank you, sir. Hope all is well with you. And Miko25 is here. Hello, my friend. Good to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so here's the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. After that, I have some day trades today that I'm going to share with you. After that, we're going to take a look at some of your positions that are up on the board, and we're going to take a look and see how those are doing. After that, we're going to switch gears, talk about trader psychology, get away from the charts and technicals for a while, and talk about what really matters, which is trader psychology, which really boils down to creating a plan and being able to follow your plan. It's easy to create a plan, but following your plan is a whole other issue. So I do like to spend some time on that. After that, I've gone down through my watch list. I've taken a look at the results of Kamal's scanner. I do have 3 requirements whenever I want to enter a new trade. First requirement is confluence or combination of signals lining up. I look at each signal, each indicator like MACD, RSI, moving averages. I look at those as potential groups of buyers. And if you put yourself in the company with as many buyers as possible, you'll have the best chance to have a profitable trade. So I look for a confluence, combination of indicators, or in other words, groups of buyers, ideally on multiple time frames. Secondly, have to make sure you have a good risk to reward ratio. You can have a really, really good confluence of signals, but based upon your filters, your levels, your RSIs, moving averages, support below you and above you, it may not offer you a good risk to reward ratio. So if I'm going to risk $100 on a trade, I want to be able to make at least 200 or more to the upside. And the number 3, always, please take a minute, consider how many positions you have, consider how correlated your positions are. If you have an up day with correlated positions, you're going to do really well. But things don't always go up. They seem like they do, but they don't always go up. So please keep that in mind. Have some diversification among your positions that you have. So I'm going to go through the results of those scanners, look for those 3 requirements. At the end of the day, if I find one that really looks good, I will go ahead and enter it right before the close of the day. After that, after the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. If you have any stock symbols you'd like me to look at, please let me know. Happy to look at those. If there's a stock symbol you'd like me to take a look at before the market closes, just put it in the chat, put it asterisk by it or emoji so I know it's time sensitive. And then if you have any new positions today, any new entries or exit, if you can, please wait till the end of the day when the market's closed. That way the pressure's off, I'm done trading, and then I'll have time to get those up there correctly for you. All right, so that's the plan. I'm going to hurry and run this U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, David is here. Hey, David, good to see you, sir. Hope you're having a good day. Bob is here. Hello, Bob. Good to see you, sir. And Frank is here. Hello, Frank. Always nice to have Frank here. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for everything that you contribute to this channel. All right. Well, let's go ahead, take a look. All right. So Gary and Kamal and I did buy Beyond Meat yesterday. False breakout to the downside. V1 bought it at 125.10. Did hit one profit target today at 127.81. It is up 2.44%. Intraday, it did go over the 50 RSI and under. So what I'm going to do here, if it stays under the 50 RSI, I will go ahead and just get out of half of my position and then wait for like a close below the previous day's low to get out of the rest. So, you know, here we reject something to the upside, which is a red flag, but I also want to see some confirmation of follow through to the downside for the other half. So anyway, up 2.46% today. One profit target, pretty good. DPZ. All right. So Gary and I did buy Domino's Pizza. Gary bought it here at $391.76. I did as well. I got out here. I didn't like how it was behaving. And then I got in a second time here at $389.20. This has just been a straight up move, up another 0.83% today. Did hit one profit target at 417.90. So this has been an awesome trade, man. I tell you, 7.33% so far on the trade. So at this point, I'm looking for a close below the previous day's low to get out. Oh, I got out of half my position 2 days ago when it rejected the 70. But this is what I was talking about. Yes, it did reject the 70 RSI, which was a red flag, but I'm looking for a close below the previous day's low to show that it actually wants to go down instead of just reject something to the upside. Okay, well, Intel finally did something for us. Dan, Quad Racer, Karen, Gary, Bob, and myself, we did get in Intel back here on the 10th of August at 49.22. V2 under 30, over 30, back in the value zone. We had to just kind of sit on this one for about a week. Didn't do much, went down, held the stop. Today gapped up nicely. It's up 2.15% today, but it was up 3.91% at one point. I did hit two profit targets. It gapped so far that I got out of two profit targets here on this nice big gap, which is fantastic. I'm a little concerned with what it's doing now. I don't like this big reversal bar, rejection of the 20, large bar down, huge volume. The close is above yesterday's. The close right now is above yesterday's close, but it is below the open, which is generally a negative. It's negative price action, and so I am considering just going ahead, locking in profits on this one today, but we'll have to see how it closes. MDB, Kamal and I did buy MDB back here on the 12th. Kamal bought it at 193. I bought it at 194.98, and this has just been a monster. Up, 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 up. Did hit another profit target today. 217.10. It's up 4% today. That second profit target is within reach. Maybe we can hit that. I'm not sure. But this has been quite the trade for me. Open to current, or entry to current position is 13.49%. For Kamal, it's over 14%. So this has been a monster, and hopefully I can hit that second profit target there. It's gone way above my spot where I start to put in a trailing stop. Yesterday, it rejected the 50-day moving average. I would have normally gotten out of half, but I just, it snuck under at the end of the day, and I didn't know. So anyway, that was a lucky mistake. Otherwise, I would have gotten out of half yesterday, but obviously I'm glad that happened because this is up 4%. So anyway, great trade there. SPY. All right. I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk, and I sell it first thing the next morning. This is based upon a long-term back-tested study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest on Twitter since 1993. Two approaches. Approach number one, buy the SPY at the open, hold it through the day, sell at the close. This approach, done every day since 1993, to be a negative 13.9% return. The second option, which is the one I use, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, sell the next morning. This approach, positive 634.2% return. So big difference between the two approaches. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. It may never work again in history, but if I'm going to take a trade, it's going to be based upon something that has good back-tested results. Blue line, buy in the at the close, sell the next morning. Orange line, buy the close, sell the end of the day. You can see there's a big difference. Over time, the blue line, all it has done is gone up, up, up. There are significant drawdowns. So if you consider using this, use a very small position size, like a 5% position size of your capital, or 10%, or, use the value of the 2 ATR based upon your maximum loss, because that way it will account for volatility. So that being said, this one was not so great. I bought it yesterday at 337.32 and it gapped down. I sold the very low and then it reversed back up. But that's how it goes. You can't stress too much every day about what the overnight SPY trade does, but just want to make sure in the long run that it's been positive, and it has certainly been positive for me, I can tell you that. Lastly, XLF down today, not participating in the rally. I did buy financials XLF back on Friday. This is a weekly trade, so this is based upon the weekly bars. It did hold the 200-week moving average as support. Looks like this is going to close under the 200-day tomorrow, based upon tomorrow, because the weekly bar, the close of the bar is on Friday. So if that is the case, I will go ahead and take that loss. All right, day trades. On Apple, here we go. This is 5-minute bar. We had this big down bar and then we rallied back to halfway. This is generally where you will lose, where you come into resistance and it will continue down. That's exactly what happened. So I did short it here at 469.84. It went down, kind of moved sideways. Here on this bar, we went under 50, over 50, so I got out of half of my position. So shorted at 469.84. Got out of half my position at 468.91. I was waiting for a close above the previous day's high to get out. Then I had a bad tick here. I wasn't sure what to do. I talked to Kamal. Kamal said that is a bad tick. So I went ahead and just got out and covered the second half here. So I got in at half, or I got short at 469.84. Got out of half at 469. Got out of half at 468.91. So that was a good trade. Okay, and then the Qs. All right, had my first trade back here on the Qs at $277.34. It moved up nicely for me, nicely. It didn't move more than 1.5 ATR, so I held it. I was going to have to get out with a close under. Glad I held it, because then it went up. I got out of half here when we closed below the previous day's low. I got out of half here when we rejected the 70 RSI, and I got out of the like half of a half of a half. And then I got out of the second half there at 278.46. So this was a nice trade. 277.34, got out of part at 278.26, out part at 278.46, and out of part at 278.61. So that was really good. And then I have one more trade, which was positive, but it was very, very frustrating. I'll tell you, it was very frustrating. I yelled at the screen. So here was my trade here. We came down into the value zone. We moved sideways. We had a beautiful V2. I got in here at 278.14. It moved up just beautifully, just beautifully, just beautifully. And then boom, had this big bar down. So I got in at 278.14, got out at 278.34. And, you know, it closed below the previous day's low. It was a big bar, volatile, all that kind of stuff. So I had to get out. Like I said, it was positive, but it shook me out of the trade because then it just went skyrocketing up, as you can see. So I missed it. Oh, well, that's how it goes. Frank has a poem for us. Was the first stock you bought the best trading lesson you were ever taught? With money on the line, it's never fine. For the first thing we learn is there's no such thing as money to burn. Boy, that's true. Let me say one more time. Was the first stock you bought the best trading lesson you were ever taught? With money on the line, it's never fine. For the first thing we learn is there's no such thing as money to burn. Boy, that is true. Thank you, Frank. Fantastic poem, as always. Thank you for contributing to the podcast and doing that. I'm sure that takes a lot of work, and I'm always so impressed, but thank you, thank you. Kamal, hey buddy, good to see you. Good chatting with you today. Thanks for the results of the scanner. Glenn says, hi Greg, entered Fastly with break above 20 EMA. Okay, sounds good. Tell me at the end though, Glenn, okay? Remember, tell me about entries and exits at the end. Mount Doji, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. I have not seen you for a while. Well, no, I saw you the other day, but nice to have you back. I hope you're doing well. Glenn says, Tesla above 2,000. Wow, I know. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What are we at? 2010. Wow. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right, let's take a look at everybody's trades. Frank had a fantastic trade on Grow Generation Corp, GRWG, bought it at $17.91. It was up 25% yesterday, but unfortunately it came down today. I don't know if Frank made any moves there, but it's about break even now, but this is a very volatile stock, it looks like. EVRG, Kamal did buy EVRG here at 53.54. It's a little off. I think it was because of the dividend. I also bought this, but I got out a couple days ago when it closed below the 30 RSI. That was my stop, and this one's kept going. So down on this one. Roku, Karen did buy Roku at 149.80. This higher low V2. Right now it's 148.60, so a little down on the trade. Johnson & Johnson. Frank and Bob did buy Johnson & Johnson back here on the 3rd of August at 147.39, and this has just gone up like a champion of champions, up 0.57% today. Very nice, Frank and Bob. Spotify, Karen, great trade. False breakout to the downside and a V2, bought at 253.90. It's at 268.10, up 2.44% just today. So very nice, Karen. Procter & Gamble. Brian bought Procter & Gamble here at 128.30. It is now 136.49. Beautiful trade, Brian. LVGO. Brian bought LVGO at 129.46. It is now 137.24. Beautiful trade there as well. MD, David did short MD at 19.46. It's at 19.03, so still nicely in the money. TCDA, Bob did buy TCDA at 14.09. I bought this as well. I hit a bunch of profit, 2-3 profit targets here. I got out here, but it is up 1.4% today. So Bob's still in the money on that trade. Very nice. Evan did buy Constellation Brands STD at 178.12. It is now 178.13. Nice big up day yesterday, but today gave some back, but still positive on the trade. FCFS, Bob bought FCFS at 58.10, and this has been a nice, beautiful monster cash. It is now monster trade. It's at 60.52. FAS. Oh, okay. Frank bought FAS back here with the 520 crossover at 33.79. This was a beautiful trade. Up, 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 up. I got out right here. I think the rest of everybody got out right here. Frank got out at 90%, held 10%, but this is, but I'm glad he sold 90%. That's for sure. DBX, Kamal did buy DBX here at 1990. Had that big gap up and reversal. It's been down. It's up a little bit today. It is holding 200. This is very similar to Intel. This is what's concerned me about Intel, is the bar is like this. That's why I'm considering getting out of this like I did here as well. But up on the trade so far. CARR, Frank and Jayhawk MBA did buy CAR at 29.54. It is 29.01, so down a bit on that trade. Facebook, Brian, great trade on Facebook, bought it at 235 and 242.98. This has just been a monster trade, up 1.75% today. Amazon, Brian bought Amazon at 30.57. It is now 32.98, so beautiful trade there. Costco, Glenn bought Costco, the breakout at 330. Been up and down, but it's at 340.75, so nicely up on the trade. PayPal, Brian bought PayPal at 174.01. It is now 197.76, so big day up today. Congratulations, Brian. Fastly, okay. Okay. Glenn entered Fastly, break above the 20 SMA. Okay, give me the particulars and the exact price at the end there, so I have them on here. But Brian did buy this back here at 79.79. Now it's 80.80. And you know, Kamal had Fastly also, but you know, we were discussing it today. It did close under the 50-day, which was his stop. And you know, sometimes you'll follow your rules and then it will go right up just as you got out. But you have to follow your rules. Sometimes you're going to break your rules and you're going to wish you hadn't. And sometimes you're not going to break your rules and you wish you had. So that's just how it goes. You know, you're always going to be disappointed by following your rules. Sometimes following your rules or breaking your rules. But nice trade, Brian. Sherwin-Williams. Brian bought Sherwin-Williams at 648.49 over here. It's at 663. Nice trade. Google. Brian, Gary, David did buy Google back here at 1504. It is now 1571, up 1.73% just today, which is great. And so far in the trade, 4.47. So Brian, Gary, David, very nice. Microsoft, Brian bought Microsoft at 214.84. It's at 214.25. Just touched his entry point, but slightly down on the trade, just slightly. Stitch Fix, David and Gary did buy Stitch Fix back here at 22.56. Had a nice, big, beautiful run. Down today a little bit, but still very nicely up on the trade. Netflix, Brian bought Netflix here at 509, went down, but is rallied strongly since the bottom there, and it's up 2.55% today. Etsy, Brian bought Etsy at 134.71. It's at 129.81, so slightly down on the trade. Brian also bought AMD at 82.72. It's now 82.55, so slightly underwater on the trade. And Square, Brian had a great trade on Square here, 140.33. It is 156.20, up 3.88%. So really nice trades there everyone. That looks really, really nice. Really fantastic. Okay. Kamal says, Greg, I am no longer an EVGR. Oh, you're not? Okay. I must have missed that one yesterday. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Steve Burns, hey buddy, what is happening? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day, my friend. Appreciate you being here. It's always an honor and a privilege to have Steve in the chat with us. You know, somebody of Steve's caliber, his teaching, his books, his website. I mean, everything. Just wonderful to have him here, and I appreciate it every day. David says, I am still in Fastly. Oh, good for you, David. All right. As usual, I make mistakes here with all these positions. Okay, I'm glad to hear that, David. Mount Doji says, anyone know what the news was on Uber on Lyft? Both have been bullish engulfing. I think I heard that Lyft had to cease operations in California. Johan says, Lyft to suspend service in California. There you go. Shortly after Lyft, Uber granted stay on California order to reclassify drivers, so continued operations confirmed. Oh, thank you, Johan. Perfect, perfect. All right, let me take a look, see current positions here. All right, beyond, like I mentioned before, it has rejected the 50 RSI above. One profit target here. If it closes below the 50 RSI, I will sell half of the position. It has not yet got to where I will start going into trailing stop mode, but I will get rid of half because it rejected a key level above. Domino's Pizza, like I said, one profit target here, no issues. If it closed below the 70, I'd get out of half, but right now it's at 71.92. Intel, this has been a good trade, and I'm glad this is one of the reasons I like to phase out, right, on these whenever it goes up a certain amount, because I did sell, two profit targets, a decent percentage right here on this open gap. I just don't like the close being below the open, the current close being below the current open, although the current close is above yesterday's open, but big gap. There was just a lot of selling in here and a reversal. So I'm very likely going to just lock in profits on this trade. MDB, MongoDB, Kamal and I, what a great trade. One profit target here. Getting close to that second profit target, but above the 50 RSI, above the 50-day moving average. So steady as she goes on this one. SPY, I'll be buying that again, of course, at the end of the day. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Let me make a little adjustment over here, an account that I manage. Okay. Steve Burns says, I will buy Google if the 1030 SMA crossover holds in the close. Yep, I knew you would, Steve. I was telling Kamal earlier, I said, I know Steve's going to be buying the Google with the 1030 crossover. Good back-tested results. We will take a look at that in a moment when we go through the potential candidates. And there's a bunch of them. But before we do that, I'll tell you what, let's just switch gears real quick, talk about trader psychology, get away from indicators and charts for a minute, and talk about the most important skill in trading. And it's not your chart reading. It's the ability to create a plan based upon good good trading fundamentals, right? Good principles of trading, small losses, having the potential for a large win, but putting together a trading plan and actually trading that plan is a whole different thing. I remember I read a book when I first started, Plan Your Trade and Trade Your Plan. Sounds easy, not so easy in in real time. But there's some really great Facebook channels, Twitter channels out there do a really nice job of posting good information for us. And one of my very favorites is Stephen Goldstein at AlphaMind 101. He has a great this is on Twitter at AlphaMind 101. He has a great podcast, the AlphaMind Podcast. He's a retired professional trader. He's now a professional trading coach in the big leagues. And so when Stephen posts something great, you should really read it, internalize it. And you should also listen to his podcast. If you subscribe to him on Twitter, of course, he'll post all of his new podcast, and he interviews traders around the world, all different levels. It's fantastic. You'll learn a lot. And I was lucky enough to be one of his guests a couple times on his podcast. Let's see what Steve has to say. Your job as a trader is not to catch every market move, but to catch the moves that match your strategy, and to take the ones your strategy identifies. Trades taken outside of your strategy are temptations laced with poison. Wow. Those are some words, right? Trades taken outside your strategy are temptations laced with poison. And it's so true. There are so many different ways to trade, everybody. You can be a position trader, trend trader, long-term trader, intraday trader, a crossover trader, a false breakout trader, mean reversion trader, all sorts of trades, and they're all valid trades, but it has to fit your personality. I could look at a chart, probably any time frame, any chart at any time, and go, okay, there's a possible trade coming up. Just because I look at charts my whole life, right? But like Kamal, like his favorite trade right now is false breakout with the V1 or V2. And he kind of wants to, concentrate on those. Those are his favorite kind, right? So if he could see trades all day long that he could take, but if it's not what he wants to do, like Steve says, trades taken outside of your strategy are temptations laced with poison. So find a trading approach that works well for you, whether it's a momentum or a breakout or a false breakout or a trend trade or a mean reversion. And I think you'll find after a while which ones you kind of like, and stick with them, right? But going outside and breaking your rules on a strategy that you don't use, that you're not familiar with, like Steve says, are temptations laced with poison. So thank you so much, Stephen Goldstein. I appreciate that. And again, I really recommend everybody listen to AlphaMind Podcast and subscribe to Stephen at AlphaMind 101 on Twitter. Okay. Ooh, Karen's doing well with Spotify. Look at this, everybody. Up 3.21%. That is fan-freaking-tastic. Really fantastic. Really great. All right. We were just speaking of Google. Brian, Gary, and David are already in Google, which is nice. Let's go over here to the 1030 chart. Where's my 1030 chart on Google? Here we go. So this is a good back-tested approach, trading Google when the 10 EMA crosses over the 50 EMA. Unfortunately, this one bumps right up against the limits of when I can take a trade. It's right there at the second ATR channel. I will take a crossover whenever, as long as the price is not like right at the second ATR channel or has rejected the second ATR channel like this. It doesn't mean that this crossover won't work and just go skyrocketing up. And I'm very aware of that. But just me personally, that's just one filter. That's one rule I take. If you trade this totally mechanically, it doesn't matter. You just take it when you take it. And so this is a completely valid entry. If you're trading this mechanically, you just stay in this baby until the 10 cross below the 30, or you could add some filters like getting out if you reject the 70 RSI and so forth. But this one, I'm just going to pass on. I hope if anybody takes this, it does go up. Hope it goes up for Steve, but this is just a little too high for me right at that second ATR channel. But that is a valid crossover. There's no doubt about that. All right. But Brian, Gary, and David being in this trade already, it's nice that you have that crossover for confirmation on your current trade. PD, pager duty. Well, this is, this is pretty interesting here. We did come back into the value zone. We did make a lower high. Normally, I would like to wash out, if I make a lower high, I'd like to wash out that first low. Although we did make a lower high here, I don't know. This is a tough one for me because this is a beautiful V2. Beautiful. It's a fractal. Here's a high, two lower highs to the left, two lower highs to the right. Here's the high of the fractal. Today we did trigger the fractal. Pretty good volume. V2, we have the 520 crossover. We're above the 50 RSI. So, this one definitely is a potential. Okay. GIB is a nice return to value, sideways motion. We do have a nice V1 here today. Today washed out previous low, closed above yesterday's close, is above 50 RSI. It's valid. Return to value, sideways motion. What I'm concerned about this one, I'm just a little concerned about that 200-day moving average right above. That's what concerns me. From a risk to reward standpoint, it's probably close to 1-to-1. So on this particular one, just because of that, I'm going to pass on this trade. So let me put this over here. Oops. Well, we'll look at TDT then. TTD is the same situation where we go into the value zone, we rally, we make a lower high, and we have not washed out that previous first low. It is a V2, it is over the 50 RSI, but I'm going to pass on that one as well. NTNX, bullish engulfing bar, V1, rejection of the 100-day moving average, back in the value zone. It's pretty good. I gotta say, it's pretty good. The weekly's in the value zone. Let's take a look at the intraday and see what the volume looks like. Looks fine. So that one is a potential. Cisco. We did go under 30, over 30. That's about all it has, really, the way that I look at this. I guess it's a false breakout to the downside. What concerns me about, see the big gap that we had? If you have a big gap and within the next 3 days, 1, 2, 3, it doesn't take out the high of that gap, it tends to trend downwards or upwards. Post-earnings drift. Steve has a good article on New Trader U about post-earnings drift, but I just feel like it's more of a dead dog bounce. There's not a lot of volume here, so I'm going to pass on that one as well. CLUB. Well, it was a V1 at one point, but not anymore. FICO was a V1, but not anymore. UUP, is kind of interesting. I didn't want to buy it yesterday because I said, it looked a little stretchy. It looked a little extended. The risk to reward wasn't as great. Now it looks like the risk to reward certainly would be better than buying at yesterday's close. I would have liked it if it was more halfway here. I think I'm just going to wait. I did like this upon first glance, but it's more of an anticipation trade. So I'm going to let this one go as well. Uber, we just talked about Uber, big bullish engulfing bar, although it rejected the 200-day moving average. So that to me is not a good sign. If it closed over the 200, it might be possible because then it gives you a good risk to reward ratio. So I'll put this over here on the potential list. Box, higher low V1 over the 50 RSI. Let's look on the weekly. Weekly looks pretty good. Sideways motion, move up 1.51% today. Let's take a look and see what the inside. That looks okay. I don't like that it's rejected the one ATR channel twice in a row, so I'm going to let that one go as well. Massey, technically a V2, but not a very valid V2 because this bar here did not wash that out very well, so I'm going to pass on that one as well. QLYS, higher low V1, but it's still below the 1 ATR channel. It's hovering right there at the 50, so I think I'll let that one go also. ZUO, well, this is a valid V2. Nice washout, close to a crossover over 50, so that one would be potential. XLRE, close over the 200-day moving average, but that doesn't backtest very well, and it's a lower low close above the 200-day moving average, right at the halfway of yesterday's big down bar, so I'm going to let that one go as well. Yep, and we already talked about GIB. All right, let me take a quick look at current positions before I do anything. Beyond Meat rejecting the 50, so very likely I'm going to sell half of that. Domino's Pizza, it's champion of all champions. Intel, I am going to sell my Intel today as well because of this big bearish reversal bar. MDB, fantastic. Up 3.86%. Come on, baby, get up there, hit that last profit target. Of course, I'll be buying the SPY at the close like I always do. And good to see XLF off of its lows today. Steve says Roku. That's not Roku. Yep. Close to the 520 crossover. That's a good valid back test. I think that's what Steve's waiting for. I like this base that it's creating here. So if we do get a move up and we get the crossover, you know, possibly we go back up. I'm not 100% sure, obviously. But I'm glad that's up for Karen today. Kamal says NTNX has earnings on September 1st. And Kamal says ZUO has earnings on September 2nd. Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you. All right. So, as I mentioned before, Google does have the 520 crossover today. I'm sorry, the 1030 crossover. Right here, the 10's at 1519. And the 30 is at 1518.36. So this is a valid back tested approach here. It's just that it's at the second ATR channel, which just disallows it for me. But if any of you take this crossover trade, good luck. PD does, I tell you, that does look fairly good. Let's look at the weekly. We are in the value zone, and we did create a V2 on the week now, so that's a double confirmation. That one's kind of my favorite at the moment. NTNX. NTX is good as well, but I think I like PD better. Uber, whoa, look at that. If it closes above the 200-day moving average, it would give you a decent risk to return. Boy, what a huge move up on that volume. Unbelievable. And ZUO. Johan says, what's your take on taking Fastly right now? Well, we did trigger a fractal today, which is good. Here's the high. We triggered the fractal over here. Although let's look at Fastly on the actual oh yeah, I think let's see. Yeah. Here's a fractal, but the high's under the red. So you know, I think it's okay. It's a very strong, big, bullish bar with a lot of volume. You know, just make sure you have a stop in place. Maybe stop under the 50 RSI, or if you want to give it a little bit more room, under the 50-day moving average. But it would be okay. I'm not going to buy it, but it would definitely, I mean, it makes sense. Fractal, strong, under 50, over 50, lots of volume. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. But I think I like the risk to reward better on pager duty. Yeah. Steve says, I'm long Google here at 1578.10 on the 10-30-day SMA crossover. Okay. Good luck, Steve, on that one. And here, while we're at it, let's put you down. While we're here, I do have time. All right, so I'm going to we'll get let's see. 1578. 10, and we'll put that one over there as Steve Crossover. It's your new name, Steve. Steve Crossover. Gary says, hi, Greg and group. I have phased out of GOOG. Funny that you are all looking to buy. I made close to 100 points. That's fantastic. Everybody, give me 1 second. I need to do a Katie situation real quick. Sorry, and I think I have enough time. Hold on. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, well, you know, Gary, that's, you know, in our lessons we talk about that, right? Like you go from one entry to you know, then if you buy a bit of a dip and then you have a move up, a lot of times you'll get that new signal, which is the crossover that they're talking about. So, you know, you have an option, right? Just stick with your original plan or treat the new 1030 as a new signal. But congratulations on making 100 points, man. That's fantastic. Okay, what do we have? 9 minutes. Evan, really no need to apologize when you need to take care of Katie. She comes first. Thanks. Well, I didn't want you to think I fell asleep, by not speaking, but yep, I have to take care of her. She is doing better today. I mean, she's still a little peaked, but she ate a little bit last night, so I'm very, very, very thankful for that. Gary says, what's the difference between the A and the C shares? Yeah, I think one of them's preferred maybe, but I mean, they both, I think, trade almost exactly. There are a little price, but yeah, I think the GOOGL are the preferred and maybe the GOOG are the common. I used to just trade GOOG for the longest time. I'm not sure why I switched over to GOOGL. I think because of Steve, actually. I think that's the one he follows. But I think they're a slightly different price. Let's see. GOOGL is 1576. Yeah. And GOOG is 1581. But that back test is on the GOOGL. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sell half of my Beyond Meat right now. Take care of that. It rejected the 50 RSI, so I am going to sell half of that. So I'll do that right now. What's going on here? Okay, I sold half there. And I'm selling half over here. Okay, so Beyond Meat's taken care of. Domino's, fine, no problem. Intel, yeah, I am going to sell Intel. I am going to sell Intel. Okay, Intel is gone. MDB is fine. SPY is on autopilot, gonna buy that. XLF, looks like that's gonna be a goner tomorrow. But as far as today, of course, we have the 1030 crossover with Google. PD looks good. NTNX. Uber. This is a tough one because, you're holding the 200. You have the 50 right above. Oh, I forgot, as usual, on Apple, Frank bought Apple at $450. It is at $473.33. So beautiful trade, Frank. Sorry, I always trade Apple intraday, and so it messes me up when I go over the list. So fantastic, Frank. Beautiful. It's at 7506 RSI, so it has gone parabolic, which is fantastic if you're long. That's a big bar on PagerDuty down with the 5 minutes on a lot of volume. I'll tell you what, I don't think I'm going to buy anything today, to be honest with you. Just looking at that big kind of distribution bar here on PagerDuty concerns me with a lot of volume. I think I'm just going to stick with what I have. I don't think I'm going to enter anything today. New 10x. It's decent, but doesn't really jump out at me. Uber. CEO. You know, I've had a... Oh, I thought my charts crashed again. They didn't, thank goodness. Yeah, I've had a lot of positions lately, and I've done really well on them. I'm grateful for that. I don't think I'm going to add anything new today. I'm going to, got rid of Intel. I got rid of Intel. So that did end up being a positive trade. Beyond Meat, I got rid of half with the rejection of the 50. I think my only trade today is going to be the SPY, to be honest with you. Steve says the main difference between GOOG and stock timbers is that Google shares have no voting rights while GOOGLs do. Yep, that's kind of what I thought. Yep. All right, so take care of that. And take care of that. All right, well, I'm all set. I'm all set. No, I'm not taking any positions today. I sold half of my Beyond Meat, keeping Domino's Pizza. I did sell my Intel. I just don't like this bar. Doesn't mean it's going to continue to go down. It may just go revving right back up, but I just don't like the price action of this bar and buying the SPY. So that's it. That's it for me today. So Gary's out of Intel. Okay. Out of Google. Oh boy, what did I do? And out of a half Beyond Meat. Okay. Okay, so we have about 15 seconds on my end. And I'm buying the SPY today, and that is it. All right, the market is closed. So good day there today on those positions. So listen, if you have any new entries or exits, just put them in the chat. I will definitely take care of them. Just real quick before I do that, just real quick, you know the routine, you know my plug, but I just do want to remind everybody that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach. I've had really good success with my clients. I've been trading for 24 years. I've studied one-on-one with some of the great traders and authors out there, like the great Stephen Burns, the great Dr. Alexander Elder, the great Larry Williams, and the great Kerry Lavorne. I've studied one-on-one with these gentlemen, and I have learned a lot. And what I teach in my course is everything I've learned in my experience over the last 24 years and everything I've learned from these authors and traders. And so that's what I teach in my course. The course is 15 hours. Each session is 3 hours long, and there are 5 sessions. So that totals the 15 hours. We do a lot of chart study. I teach you all the different setups that I use. But I think the most important thing is that it's 15 hours long. So we speak a lot, we go back and forth. I ask you a lot of questions. I teach the lesson, then I have you basically teach it back to me. I throw you curveballs. I throw lots of questions at you in different scenarios and situations to see if you really understand what I'm talking about. But I think the main point is that we just do so much chart study. We will just go through, like, take a chart here, right? We'll just go day by day, like, okay, here's Google on the weekly. Did we take this? It's a 520 cross. Does it back test? Well, I'm not sure, but let's just pretend it did. Okay, it's going up, up, up. Okay, is it to a certain point? Are we locking in profits yet? Have we instituted a trailing stop yet? Okay. Oh, this probably would be the one. But we do hours and hours and hours of that. And I really think it's the best way to get the repetitions is to just go through lots of charts, lots of different situations with your teacher. And so that's what I do in the class. So if you're interested in taking the class with me, I think you really enjoy it. It's $1,000. But I think it's worth every penny. I think it's worth actually much more than that. And when you're done, you really should be able to look at charts no matter what the market's doing and understand where a good risk to reward ratio is, where a good entry is. So, if you're interested, reach out to me. You can send me an email. My email is in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. And if you do, I will write you back and say, hey, thanks for saying hello. Let's do a Skype call. Skype call's totally free. There's no sales pressure. I will never ask you if you want to take the course. I just want to speak to you, get an idea of your trading career, your challenges, your goals, and then it's a really good time for you to ask me questions about the course. And then when we're done with the call, I'll say, it's nice speaking to you. Think about it. If you're interested, contact me back. All right. And then lastly, if you like today's podcast, I would certainly appreciate it if you would hit the thumbs up button. Helps build the channel, keeps the channel together. Right. So if you could hit the thumbs up button before you get out of here, I would really appreciate it. And, also if you could share it on social media or tell your friends about it. If you have trading friends, tell your friends about it as well. Okay. So real quick, where did I get filled today? Okay. So all I bought was the SPY at 338.28. Boy, I nailed the low. I couldn't have tried to nail the low any better if I tried. Let's see. All right. So 338.28. All right, roger that. Now, let's see. Okay, so Gary, I took off of Intel, right? Yes. Dan out of Intel. And Gary out of Google. I already did that, right? Steve, crossover, Brian, David, yes. Dan's out of Intel. Gary says, thanks, Greg. Gary says, glad to hear Katie is doing well. Thank you, Gary. Kamal says, okay, so we've got Kamal in QLYS. Okay, Kamal, we got you down there. TTD. Okay, we got you down there, Kamal and Massey. ISI. Okay, Karen is out of Intel. Okay, Karen's out of Intel. And out of Spotify. Very nice trade, Karen, on Spotify. That was beautiful. Got out on some real strength, too. And in NT, NX, okay, we've got Karen there. And notice I put your name in Karen and not NTNX. All right. Dan says, someone please smash the like button. Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you for that. Yes, please hit the like button if you like today's information. I'm not asking you to hit it if you didn't. Okay. So it looks like Gary Kamal still in. I'm going to put a little negative sign by Gary. Out of half. Okay. Karen says, thanks. You are welcome. Nice going. Gary Ann says, done already as always. All right. So Beyond Me, it's been good. Sold half, but doing well. Domino's Pizza has been a monster. Intel, who do we still have in Intel now? So we have Quad and Bob still in Intel. So I'm going to move over here. Yeah, that one could go either way. That really could go either way. I mean, it might just go zooming back up. I have no idea, but make the decision and stick with it. That's all. Yas says, thanks. A lot to like here. Thank you, Yas. Appreciate that. So let's see, where did the market end up here? So the Dow Jones ended up 46. Okay. Then NASDAQ, of course, the big one up 118.49. And the S&P up 10. So it was all about the NASDAQ today for sure. Oh, and then Glenn. So Fastly, I know, was it Glenn? Yes. Entered Fastly with a break above the 20. Okay, so we've got different people in here. I'm going to put Glenn in here, but I don't know if I'll be able to remember who did what. And that was right above the 20. So I'll tell you what, I'll do this. I'll put a blue line here for Glenn. Nice trade, Glenn. Very good. Katie's over there panting. I don't know if you can hear her, but it's a good pant. It's not a bad pant. Okay. Any other updates for me? Any jokes, any questions? What do you have? All right. Well, it's a beautiful day here. I'm going to go put my hiking boots on, go for a little hikey. Haven't had Katie on a hike for a few days because she needs a rest. But I'm going to get out there and do it. So, last chance for questions or anything to talk about. Otherwise, I'm going to head up in the mountains. And David says, I was going to exit SFIX and I ran out of time. It closed below the previous day's low. Where edge sticks stick fetch. Oh, where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, it did. It closed below the previous day's low for sure, but you ran out of time. Yes, says, do you make general comments on the current overall market? Whew, that's a tough one. I mean, the market's insane, really, the way that I look at this. I mean, look, we're in a strong bull uptrend, no doubt about it. You know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, let's look at the general markets. The Dow Jones, well, we're well off of our high here. This one is, you know, a bit of a pullback. It's okay. NASDAQ. You know, the thing about the NASDAQ, though, is we've made this new high here. I mean, we're right up here near the 70 RSI channel. We're right up here near the third ATR, up 70 RSI. We're right here near the third ATR channel. We have a bit of a bearish divergence going on. Here we have a high with the pullback and then a higher high. The high corresponded with the green bars. The pullback corresponded with red. You know, we're higher now. We have less momentum on this move than this previous momentum. MACD's positive. You know, it's hard to say. It feels very toppy to me, but I could be completely wrong. But, you know, one thing I feel pretty confident in saying is that, you know, we're at a 66 RSI. We're near the third ATR channel. If we get that confluence of a 70 RSI and the third ATR channel there, most likely, you know, 93% of the time, that's about where it stops. Maybe it will go sideways, consolidate, and then move higher. But, and then the S&P, you know, we ran into resistance of the 70 RSI. It's hard to say. I mean, my main point, I think, is that, you know, we are pretty toppy in looking at different time frames, using different indicators. It seems choppy, but I mean, toppy to me, but look, it's going to go up until it doesn't. So I would say take your signals if you have valid signals and, you know, try to keep your opinion out of it. But that would be my take. Yeah, I think we're toppy, and I think the market's pretty crazy right now. So, I mean, I wouldn't feel real comfortable adding a ton of new positions here right now for that very reason. Kamal says, thank you, Greg. Happy hiking. Thank you. Thank you, Johan. Appreciate it. So, okay. Please remember, try to go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile or a wave or a hello. Just one nice act of kindness would really be great. If everybody would do that every day, the world would be a whole better place. So if you could go out and do one nice thing for somebody today, that'd be fantastic. If you could also go out and do one nice thing for an animal today, they would certainly appreciate that, and that would be fantastic. So try to do that every day. Try to make it a goal, right? It's a decent goal, right? So have a good rest of your day. Be good, be safe. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow during the last hour of the market. Yas says, okay, makes sense. No ton of new positions, thanks. That's how I feel. I could be totally wrong though, Yas. You know, I could be totally wrong, but from a historical standpoint, where we're at right now, RSI, all this kind of stuff, but it might, I would be careful. I'd always be careful, right? Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Be good, be kind, be nice, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow during the last hour of the market. And thanks you, Miko. You are certainly welcome, and thank you for coming. Take care now. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.